How do you feel about having a father that would rather be laid up with a grown woman who can take care of herself, but he would rather be laid up with that woman and continue to abuse her than to spend his free time being a father? How does that make you feel?
Sad, angry.
What's good, YouTube? This is KB LaFleur. You can call me KB. Welcome back to another video, man. We got a pretty good video, man. We got bitter baby mother on our hands, right? We got a bitter baby mother who decided to record this video of her weaponizing her kids against the father. Now, once again, we talk about this all the time. In the past few days, right? In the past few days, man, we've been seeing, and shout out to this page. Shout out to Who's the Deadbeat, man, because they are getting their hands on a lot of good videos, man, that, of course, we've been covering for the longest, right? We've been covering for the longest. So the fact that we are able to see this video, right? Almost, man, it's almost like National Geographic. We get to see how a lot of bitter baby mothers are weaponizing their kids, right? Are using these kids as weapons against the father, right? Now you have this chick, man, with the brains of, I mean, hey, man, listen, right? Y'all can go ahead and y'all can start comparing, right? But you decide to record it. Why would you record it? Right? Why would you record it? But hey, once again, like I said, it's like National Geographic. Go ahead and record it so we can go ahead and see, man, what really goes down. How are y'all doing this? And seeing the sad thing about it is we have a lot of women, man, who still defend women like this. We have women who really defend women like this. But that is okay, right? That is okay. Because we're about to go ahead and look at some of these comments. And I already know we're going to get some comments where some women might agree with how this sister feels, right? How this sister feels. The fact that anybody can sit over here and justify this is mighty wild, but once again, it just goes to show how our society is, right? How our community is. But hey, and mind you, we've had plenty of videos of guys moving on, finding whole relationships, right? Finding whole relationships, but every time they want to go ahead and do something with their child or whatnot, guess what happens? They can't do anything with them because of who? Because of women like her. And when men sit over here and say, you know what? Well, hey, I'm at least trying to get some advice so I can figure out how I can get out of situations like this, or how I can get into my child's life, spend more time with them, because the woman, because the mother that a lot of women don't like to hold accountable, but because her and the judge is saying, hey, well, you can only see your kids once or twice out of the week, right? So we're going to force you to pay money, instead of just saying, hey, well, you know what? 1 week she can have the kid, or 1 week he can have the kid. You know, hey, 1 week she take care of all the bills, 1 week he take care of all the bills. I mean, well, y'all take care of whatever y'all need to take care of when that kid is in your possession. Now, when it comes down to the bills, when it comes down to medical bills, we should be splitting it in half. But society, the judges are not going to do that. Society is not going to care for that. Women are not going to advocate for that, because, hey, guess what? They get to get over on men when situations like this happen.
Gina, you really mad that I'm with her. That's why you really mad. That shit was years ago. But they are, listen, Gina, they are brothers and sisters. This is a birthday party.
But let's go ahead and jump into a video that's similar to that one.
How do you feel about having a father that would rather be laid up with a grown woman who can take care of herself, but he would rather be laid up with that woman and continue to abuse her than to spend his free time being a father? How does that make you feel?
Sad, angry.
How does it make you feel to know that Alicia says your dad doesn't work on the house on the weekend, that he lays around up under her all weekend, period, like every weekend, has free time, but the free time is never over here? Do you think it's extremely far when I go to your dad's house? Or do you think it's kind of a decent drive?
40 minutes. 40 minutes.
Well, it sounds like a reasonable drive, huh? Seems like something your dad could be doing in the past month that he has not been doing it. And he's willing to not even be involved in your life because he beat up Alicia and is on the run. He's willing to continue not to be in your life because he's about to be cut off, because he thinks it's important to send Alicia to a vacation than it is to make sure the person taking care of his kids can afford to be that comfortable.
And see, one can easily sit up here and say, well, I mean, you're sitting over here getting upset because he is going out of town or putting his current girlfriend or whatever on vacation, when you're probably upset, right? When he's probably taking care of his things, right? 9 times out of 10, he's taking care of his things. A woman go as far as doing this. Once again, guys, they're not innocent whatsoever. I'm pretty sure you hear the guy's side of the story. Man, bro, I mean, I got to take a vacation at some point in time. I mean, like, bro, I got to move on. I mean, yes, I still take care of my kids. She has most of the custody, but hey, guess what? She wants me to do everything. And if I do not do one single thing on her time, guess what? I'm the bad guy. And that's sad because, once again, that's women being able to abuse their power, right? Well, he's about to go ahead and get cut off. When 9 times out of 10, I'm just out here living my life. I'm taking care of my duties with my kids, but you're upset because I'm not doing what you want me to do when you want me to do it. And once again, that is the power that a lot of women hold. But of course, we got to read the comments. And of course, we will go ahead and see a few people agreeing with stuff like this. So now let's go ahead and jump into these comments, man. So there is, of course, you always have somebody in the comments, man, saying, hey, well, I understand. I agree because, here's what I'm going through, yada, yada. Okay, right? Fine. Let's go ahead and go through it. So she says, I understand her feelings. I truly do. I'm literally in the same situation. Granted, my child is going to be 14 very soon. Just last night, she was crying, watching the TV show where the main character asks his mom, why doesn't dad care? Why doesn't he care about me? I told her, while I do not understand to grow up without a father, I've come to understand her pain from her. Her father has made it very clear to both her and I that his current girlfriend and her kids come before my daughter and her needs. He took my daughter and the kids, his girlfriend kids, to Target, and he told my daughter she could only spend $40 while those kids could down whatever amount they wanted. She was devastated. She came home crying. Now that she's able to see for herself what dad is really about, she wants nothing to do with him. If she wants to blame me, so he's not mad at her, I will gladly take the fall for that. It's hard to see your child crying about something you have no effing control over, and the person who can do something chooses to not do anything. So sometimes I do regret not bashing her dad in front of her, but I wanted her to see on her own and hope her father would have changed. So now the person who pretty much runs the channel or the page, he said, how do you or she know that the woman didn't spend that money on her own kids and the dad only had 40 for her? Then he also goes on to respond and says, and what you told her was no different than what this lady is telling her children. You said she was with him at Target, so how is she growing up without a father? Some PA differently going on here. Now, to some degree, I do understand what he's saying. He was like, he's at Target. He's spending money on her. So, hey, but once again, and this is where a lot of your women, man, get a little emotional and they want to try to push. They try to over exaggerate, or they try to embellish. They try to lie. They try to say, hey, well, you know what? He doesn't really take care of the kid. When once again, when you hear the man's side of the story, you're like, okay, he does take care of his kids, man. Shout out to Sister Daphne. Now, her channel did get taken down. Her YouTube channel did get taken down. But, and if I can freaking find it, but there is a video where she was going back and forth with the lady, man, who made a video about, pretty much, baby fathers paying their child support and yada, yada, yada. She was a cheerleader or whatever, right? She actually was able to get her on her channel and they end up having a discussion. Right. And the lady is saying, well, you know what? Hey, the reason I made this video is because my child's father isn't active in his life.
Child support gets set. 5, 6, 7, 8. Baby daddy, are you ready for court? Cause I need you to pay your child support. Baby daddy, are you ready for court? Cause I need you to pay your child support. You thought you had it made in the shade, living with your girl. I said, no ma'am, I got his whole world. It is his daughter, and so has you come second place. 6, don't make me take off this lace. All I want you to do is pay your child support. Never mind, I will see you in court. Hey! I will see you in court. Hey! I will see you in court. Baby daddies, make your payments. Stop making excuses. We're number one. Let's go.
So much so that They even got the daughter on the phone, right? So now you have the mother and you have the daughter, right? Everybody's over here sympathizing. Oh my gosh, dang, I hate that you have to go through that. So much so that she even cried. She even cried on there. But oh my gosh, I hate this. Okay, cool, right? Then Sister Daphne, this is why she is great. Right? She actually goes out and go find these people, right? So she went ahead and talked to the baby father. And guess what? When you listen to the baby father's story, you're like, dang, now everything makes sense, right? So you're really not a bad man. You were a father man that did what he was supposed to do. But, hey, the mother, once again, hated you, regretted you or whatever, right? So she's going to make it hard for you. So in that situation, I mean, hey, it could go either way. But for the most part, man, a lot of your women just over exaggerate. A lot of your women, man, trying to make the man look bad. So somebody else says, "Is something wrong with you and this lady? You project your feelings for their dad on your children. It's sad. You are putting your kids through unnecessary trauma." So, I mean, for the most part, they were all just kind of going back and forth in those comments. I'm not trying to screenshot all of those because, I mean, one comment takes up half the screen. Like I said, I'm not trying to do all of that. But for the most part, man, I mean, they were kind of going back and forth, and I'm not sitting over here saying that, there aren't men out there who do not take care of their children, right? But I mean, for the most part, man, you lay down with the man that you lay down with. You have the option to pick who you want to become your baby father. And if that man is over here, sitting over here, I don't want to be with you, I want to womanizer, always mess around with women, no condoms every single time, right? I mean, you then decide to say, you know what, I'm cool with him being my dang baby father. I mean, like, come on, man, what do you expect? You got to take some accountability. So, but to sit over here and say, I can agree with her, I choose, once again, stop it, right? Once again, you can't agree with this. You cannot agree with it whatsoever. Now, she's saying, I truly do understand where she's coming from, right? Now, hey, maybe you do understand her anger, right? Maybe you do understand her anger, but to sit over here and jump on the internet, there should be no reason why you should be saying anything involving, hey, well, you know what? I agree with that, because what is there to agree with? Bashing the baby father in front of these children. If he is the piss poor father that you claim to be, that you claim him to be, that even though you're the reason he's that father, right? But if that is the case, why sit over here and try to put that taste in your children's mouth? This doesn't make any sense. The host says something pretty good in this, right? So he says, exactly, right? He responding to somebody, but so he says, exactly. She is the epitome of toxic mothers we're talking about. Even though we don't believe she didn't bash that man, bashing the other parent is not the only thing you can do to manipulate a kid. Agreeing with their bad feelings about their other parent just because they didn't get their way is not good either. Nobody is saying dismiss your kids' feelings, but still act like the adult. The fact that she commented this BS is crazy to us. Then teaching the girl to lie and blame her so he won't be mad at her. The F. And then he says, truly is to blame. I don't know. Right. But at the end of the day, it's just red flags, and once again, he makes a lot of sense, right? He makes a lot of sense. You should not agree with this crap at all. Somebody else says this woman is abusing her children. This is child abuse, and she is manipulating how they think. That is a fact. That's a fact. Somebody else says, no, that's weaponizing kids right there. If you're going to do it, don't videotape it. Makes you look guilty, right? Whether you videotape it or whether you don't videotape it, you're guilty at the end of the day. But these kids in therapy, so he then goes on to say, put these kids in therapy and let them vent their way back to positive standing in their own emotions. Sounds like a case of daddy issues will be right across the plate for them. So somebody else says, it's crazy because I never knew my birth father. He was young and my mother was younger, about 15, 16 around that time. Got her pregnant, emotionally and mentally abused her, and never seen my mom or me again. He went on with his life. So it's like I already know how kids end up feeling after an absent daddy. You feel numb. So somebody else says that's not the kid's business who the daddy lays with. Sounds like mama wish she was laid up with daddy. Once again, spiteful, envy. Somebody else says, sad, my mom never bashed my father to us. Never. We found out what he was as we got older and seen it for ourselves. So the guy responds, that's how it should be. Kudos to your mom for truly protecting you guys from the ugly truths kids never need to know as children. Now, once again, nobody ever is excusing a deadbeat father. But to sit over here and bash this man on internet, to sit over here and bash this man, because that's what you see a lot of sisters do. They bash the very man they lay down with, have kids with. It's crazy. But the best thing to do as a mother, and I've seen it myself, where I've seen women, man, who have his poor baby fathers, but they never sit over here and show that they have the dislike or distaste for the father to their children. Maybe they may see it in the mannerisms as of, okay, well, I mean, she never really talks to my father, like I see mothers talk to fathers. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. A lot of women come up with the argument of, well, you know what, hey, you're trying to excuse the baby father. They would think this host is trying to excuse deadbeat baby fathers. That's not the case, right? That's not the case. But if he is a deadbeat father, you're going to have some women, very few sisters who sit over here and say, you know what, hey, it is what it is. He's a bad man or whatever. But I'm not gonna bash this man. I'm not gonna sit over here and get on my, oh, well, your father never comes around. Your father doesn't do this. Your father doesn't do that. Hey, I'm gonna just work with him. Hey, I'm gonna just work with him best I can. And you have some women. I believe there was a post where a woman who sat up here and said, hey, well, you know what? I understood, man. I had a kid with this guy. He didn't want to be a father. I said, okay. I gave him the option. If you don't want to be in the kid's life, that's fine. If you do, you do. I'll give you your time or whatever space that you need. And guess what? He said, okay, that's fine. And he like, damn, I mean, like, shoot, like, wow, like, I just shot the club up. She had a kid, but and she's giving me the option of either being in the kid's life or not, with no strings attached, right? And then guess what? At some point in time, that guy came around. He was like, well, you know what? Maybe I do want to be in that woman. Maybe I do want to be in that kid's life. And probably at some point in time, that something probably blossomed out of that. Unless she found another guy, but something probably blossomed out. Right? Maybe he was like, you know what? I came to my senses. I do want to go ahead and start a family with you and whatnot. Now, one thing I will say is I do have a homeboy, man, who sat over here. Right? Not really cool like that anymore. But he sat over here, had a child with this girl that we all went to school with. And fast forward, he wasn't claiming the baby, moved elsewhere. Now he's about to start a whole new family. He's about to literally start up a whole family. So once again, I'm not saying that there aren't deadbeats out there. But what I am saying is, for the most part, women control who these deadbeats are. Right now, she was a good girl. She's a good girl still, I mean, once again, but you understood this man was a hoe. I mean, he was out here just getting around. Right, the brother was getting around. But once again, nobody is ever excusing this type of behavior. But the best thing, this is the best comment, right? The kids never found out that the baby father was bad. They just saw it as they got older, right? And that's just how it should be, right? Allow the kids to see it for themselves, right? Allow them to make their own judgment. You're sitting over here once again, you got women like this who's probably who's 9 times out of 10 manipulating the kids, putting it in their head. He ain't doing this. He ain't doing that. He ain't doing this. And once again, it's how the mother is wording it. How does it make you feel that, your father's over here laid up with a woman, right, when he can be over here with you? Well, I mean, damn, I do want to be with my dad every day, not understanding that most of the custody goes to the woman. So, hey, the kids probably don't know that, but the kids know, all the kids know is most of the time I'm with my mama and I'm barely with my father, not knowing that it's because of the custody. Not knowing that, hey, well, you know what? Your mama owns y'all. But hey, of course, the kid is going to be like, well, you know what? Dang, I really do want to be able to kick with my pops, but I don't be able to get to kick with him much. And then, she's telling me that he's over here laid up with another woman. I mean, yeah, that does kind of make me mad. When the kid's probably never even thinking of that. The kid's like, well, my dad doing enough for me. But hey, now you're trying to put something in my head to make it feel like my dad isn't doing enough. Now I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I guess my dad isn't doing enough for me. Now that makes me really feel bad. Yeah, mom, I really want to kick it with dad. He's once again manipulating the kid, just putting stuff in their head. But like I said, National Geographic, at least we get to see up close how a lot of your bitter baby mothers are acting. Do me a huge favor, leave me a like, leave me a comment, and leave me a subscribe.